Let's begin with talking about the assign buttons, since they will be the most important thing for you during operation. The assign buttons recall preset scenes. Now, 1 recalls the music team 1 scene. If you press 2, it recalls the music team 2 scene. 3 recalls the setting for the worship leader or during the service, and 4 recalls the setting during the preaching. Remember that you probably still have to change some of the equalizers during the preaching time. Number 8 mutes all the instruments, as you see at the red lights here. 7 mutes the monitors and effects. This is used during the music time when somebody's talking. It's much easier to understand the person when 7 is on. Just make sure you turn it off again when the music resumes, and also that the 8 is not lit. In case you want to record on the USB stick, you can press number 6. You see that the light up here is also lit. You can also view if the recording is running by pressing the view button here. And you can stop the recording again by pressing 6 again. Then the light should turn off at the number 6 and also up there. At the moment, this is just a backup, since we do the main recording on the digital recorder, which will be covered in an extra part. Now let's talk about the channels, how they're set up and how to recall them. If you press a button in this area, it will recall the associated channels on the left side of the mixer. Now if you want to see the left and the right side mixer channels at the same time, you have to press the button simultaneously. Like here you have the microphones 1 to 8 on the left and the instruments on the right side. Actually, any combination is possible. You can even use, for example, the microphones and the monitor settings at the same time on the left and the right side, or the auxiliary ins. If you press the auxiliary ins just once, they will appear on the left side instead. Like here you have the inputs for the computer, the line in, the CD player, and also the USB stick in case you want to play back from that one. Some channels can be selected with one button only for the right side here on the right section of the recalls of the channels, like the buses 1 to 8, which even have an extra button on the left and the right side. And let's talk about how to edit the monitor mix. If you select the buses 1 to 8 on the right side and the microphones on the left, you can select either bus 1 or 2 where the monitors are now, and then go to fader flip, this button here. So if you turn on fader flip, it will change the levels on the left side of the mixer now where the microphones are. If fader flip is on, you can change the volume on the monitors. You also see this here in the display marked with bus 1 next to the channel name. So in this mode, if you change now channel 4, you change the volume on the monitors. Of course, you can always change the main level of the monitors here as well. And if you want to change other channels, you can select them while still being in the fader flip mode. Make sure you turn off fader flip at the end to return to normal mixing, otherwise you mix the monitors instead of the main speakers. Very similar is also how you edit the effects. This time you select buses 9 to 16, and then you have the 4 preset effects on the right side here. Now, very much like the monitors, you have to press fader flip, select the effect where you want to have changes, and then whatever you change on the left side here now will be the volume or the intensity of the selected effect. Again, at the end, remember to turn off the fader flip. Now let's see how to recall or save scenes. Usually you won't need this if you use the assign buttons only, but if you need more than that, you press scenes here on the right side of the display. And if you use the left knob, you can scroll to the desired program and press the left knob to select it. And this will recall immediately. If you want to save, you use the knob next to that. Press save, probably change the name. Press again the right knob here. And in this case, because it's an override, you have to confirm it. Remember that you don't overwrite something you don't want to overwrite. If you want to select a different slot, you can scroll down to that slot, press the knob, and then save again by pressing the right knob again. Next, let's view and change some of the basic channel settings. If you press the home button, you can see an overview of the selected channel. You can see the dynamics, or if you scroll to the right, other configurations, the gate, the dynamics, equalizers, and sends. In order to change that, it's much easier to use the view buttons in the selected area like here. This now is for the gain. So if I want to change the main gain, I can either use the knob here below the display or the assigned knob here on the mixer itself. As you see, this also changes the gain on the display. Now here you can also turn on the phantom power, have a phase reverse, or change anything else of the configurations of the preamps. Now very handy is also the use of the view button, since this will recall the area that you're probably just working with. Now for example, if I press the equalizer, I can see that one, or on the left side now I can change, for example, the gate dynamics. If I view and turn on the gate, then in the display I can see the changes that I make at the very moment. Same for the dynamics, have to be activated first of course in order to have a change, and then you can see that in the display. If you need more detailed changes, then you can use the buttons on the display. Now a very important function that you will surely need are the equalizers and how to change them. If you press the view button, then you can see the equalizer for the selected channel. See, if you change different channels, you can see the different equalizer settings. There you can select now, for this channel, the gain level, the frequency that you want to operate here, and also the shape or width of the curve. You can also select the different areas of the equalizer by these buttons. Now I'm changing the medium upper part, and here you can change the shape of the curve, always for the selected frequency. Now you can also turn on or off the equalizer here. If you see in the display now, if it's marked gray, it's turned off the equalizer. Pressing it again will turn it on. In some cases probably you also want to save or recall equalizers. Select the channel, go to library, and choose the equalizer you want to load. Then press the knob to load it, and yes to confirm. Now this is the new equalizer setting for the selected channel. Let's see how this changes by choosing another one. So load it again, and let's see how the equalizer has changed now. You can do this for any channel. Now let's see how you can view some of the meters. If you press the bus send button, you can see the levels and settings for the different buses, for example the monitors on bus 1 and 2. This is still part of the home section we have just seen before. Now if you want to change to other meters from the home section, you press meters, where you can see the different settings for the channels, mixed buses, auxiliary returns, and others. As the sound engineer, you probably also want to use the headphones to listen to certain channels. Headphones are connected here at the bottom of the mixer, and volume for the headphones will be controlled with this knob. If you also want to use the TALKBACK microphone, pressing and holding the A button will enable it, or pressing B on and off, and having the volume settings on this knob. Now to turn on the digital recorder, you have to use the slide button here on the left side. Push it down to turn it on, and push down and hold to turn it off again. Now when you press the record button, pressing it once only activates the levels, but the numbers are not running. Only if you press it a second time, the numbers start running and recording is working. So make sure you always press it twice. On the right side, you also can change the recording level. Now, unlike this video, at the moment during the sermon we use input level 12 for the sermons and something a little bit below 1 for the music time. In the front left part of the recorder you also see the two buttons labeled 1 and 2 with the red lights on. In case the lights are not on, press them to activate the right input. So that's all for the basics of mixing now. Thanks for your help.